All right, let's address the Biden speeches and all of these people who are lining up to try and tell him to back off the ticket. I need to say blatantly, back off telling him that. Stop putting that message out there. We need a unified front. The bottom line is, Joe Biden's speech today was an hour. He made a misspeak while he was giving his speech at NATO in front of Zelensky. And he said the name Putin instead of Zelensky. He caught it less than a millisecond later. He corrected it, and they both laughed about it. So, of course, the right wing, the people, Democrats that are losing their spines because they're catering to hearing all the bullshit coming from MAGA, and they don't realize by the words they're saying is making it worse. It's taking confidence away from Joe Biden when we need to be doing everything we can to put 100% confidence in Joe Biden, because the bottom line is he did a speech tonight to which he had some off-the-cuff answered questions, no notes, no teleprompters, nothing. And he was articulate. I'm going to read the transcript, and then I'll just randomly pick a transcript from any of Trump's rallies, and we'll read them. All right? And we'll see who sounds a little more, not right. He made a joke about, he made a comment about working with another country and the steps where it took, stuff to move forward in historical levels, with, I think, Korea and Japan mending the fences and stuff since the war and all that. It's never been done. And he made a comment about it taking 4 weeks, and then he stopped and he corrected himself, and he's like, no, it was more like 5 months. I don't want everyone jumping in. And he was on it. He said it, and then it registered that, wait, no, it wasn't. Wait, it was a little longer than that. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. He registered it. He fixed it. Boom. He did that in an hour speech, taking blind questions from people in the press pool. All right, he did that, and he was beaten up about the people, George Clooney and everyone else. George, I freaking love you, man. Jon Stewart, I love you, man. Joe, come on, people. Joe Biden started his journey when he was 29. He has already had a ridiculously successful 4 years so far. He got a lot done that needed to get done. He mended fences that needed mending for decades all over the world. He did it. He brought the biggest coalition together, added 50 countries to NATO, and he brought a huge coalition together at this NATO summit to protect Ukraine. He did that with help from a lot of other people, but he did it. He's been fighting for them. Zelensky laughed about the slip up. But what he showed today in an hour-long open mic press conference, very articulate answers. He literally flubbed like two different things. He said vice president, he was talking about Trump and whether or not Kamala Harris was worthy of taking the reins if he needed to, and he was in the middle of discussing how Kamala Harris can handle Donald Trump and win against Donald Trump if that was necessary. And he said Trump instead of Kamala, and then just went going. He didn't catch himself on that one. Where he caught himself, he just didn't care. Remember a couple of months ago, Trump, Nancy Pelosi, Nikki Haley, and all of that bullshit? Where was the scream to, for him to step down? I mean, this is a man that has a job to finish. A job that he started when he was 29 years old. You don't think Joe Biden, as a man who John McCain bragged about, Lindsey Graham bragged about, everybody in Congress and in Senate bragged about, whether they agreed with him or not, bragged about him as a human being. There's millions, not millions, but there's a whole bunch of different interviews about Joe Biden as a man. Look at him. This is before he became the enemy on the other side of the aisle. That's what he's about. Do you think in any way, shape, or form that he is going to try and do this last 4 years as his swan song to make a difference in history? And don't get it wrong. He's already made a big historical difference. And we do have a better economy than most countries in the world right now. And we are more energy sufficient, independent. The chips, you know what he did. If he says he's got this, we have to have faith in him that he's got this, because like he said today in his speech, uninterrupted, he was talking about after the debate, his schedule. And then he made a joke about Donald Trump right now is sitting in his golf course, in his golf cart, filling out a scorecard before he even plays. And that's accurate, because that's exactly what he was probably doing. He's been on the campaign trail nonstop, and if you watch his speeches, even if he screws up a handful of times in a speech, and tonight I counted 2, well, possibly 3, but he only didn't catch himself on one, or he didn't say anything about it. He corrected the other 2 very quickly. That's our next president. The current one is our next one. And he will finish his job. And I guarantee you he will finish those 4 years on top. We need to stand behind Joe Biden. I know we're all trying to be safe and, we got to do it now. No, we freaking don't. Because you know what happens? God forbid he gets into office and maybe he's not up for it. Kamala's right there. And since Democrats will hold Congress, appointments will be a lot easier. We can make the changes to immigration, to education, all the things we need to focus on. Not whether or not Joe Biden looks old. Because I'll tell you right now, I don't know many people that can tap into a lifetime worth of experience with any question that comes his way and give a 10-minute, 20-minute answer. I said after that debate one very simple thing. He was tapping into all this information he gathered since he was 29 years old. That's a lifetime of wealth and knowledge that you and I, and certainly Donald Trump, does not have. So every time that debate they asked him a question, he had to get an answer, fit it into 2 minutes, or his mic gets cut off. And I said, you can't do that to a man with that much experience. You can't do that to a man that needs to fact check the idiot across the stage because the network running the thing refuses to do it. And you can't expect him coming out of a sickness and did what? 18 different whatevers in that week? Stops in that week, countries and all this other stuff? And then got sick too? And then still did the debate and mopped the floor with Donald on facts. But 2 minutes. And I said, when he's asked a question, he will stop, he will click in, he will gather all that information, and he will give you a dissertation on what it was, why it was a problem, and what it does and how it helped everybody. And today was an example of that. Now I know Democrats and content creators, I know the nervousness, because you're looking at this guy and you once knew an old guy or an old woman that all of a sudden, that's Joe fucking Biden. Cut it out. He's got this. Get on board or just shut up. Put up your Biden for president sign and whisper if you have questions, because they're using your words against him, the person we have to make sure gets into office. They're using your celebrity words. I am so sorry, Mr. Clooney. Jon Stewart, freaking love you, man. Come on. And all you content creators that I enjoy and newscasters that I enjoy. We need unity. And if Joe has a problem, Joe will tell us, because he's that kind of guy. The one thing we need to make sure is there are no questions to keep Donald J. Trump out of office. And all the people that he has filling all those positions, get them the hell out too. Now is our chance. Shut up, vote, and support our president, Joe Biden. Stay diligent, stay educated, be kind. We are all in this together, especially the Democrats.